Hey loves, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Drea. Hey, how you doing? So today I'm going to be recapping a new show that's coming on MTV, which is Teen Mom Young and Pregnant. So if you're familiar with the Teen Mom franchise, it originally started with 16 and Pregnant, and I think that had about 5 or 6 seasons, and then they broke off to Teen Mom, which turned into Teen Mom OG, Teen Mom 2, and Teen Mom 3, which they canceled after 1 season, which was really unfortunate because I really enjoyed that season. But now 2 girls from Teen Mom 3 have actually moved on to the other 2 series. So Briana Jesus moved on to Teen Mom. It's also been rumored that Mackenzie from Teen Mom 3 is going to move on to Teen Mom OG to replace Farrah that recently left the series. And it was also rumored not too long ago that Teen Mom was going to be taking a spin out of like Bravo's Real Housewives and move it onto Teen Mom certain states. So they were actually going to be recording Teen Mom New Jersey. I don't know why they stopped that. That sounded like it was going to be interesting, but now all of a sudden we have this new show and I'm really happy to recap it for y'all. So we're following 5 girls: Briana, Jade, Ashley, Kayla, and Lexi. All of them range in different ages. We start off with Briana, who is 17 years old and 33 weeks pregnant. So she actually has a boyfriend that is transgender, and I'm only bringing that up because they brought it up. Her boyfriend's name is Danae, and she's originally from Chicago but recently moved to Milwaukee because her mom had a great job opportunity. So her boyfriend actually follows her from Milwaukee to Chicago, but the boyfriend has his own place and Briana stays with her mom. So apparently Briana got pregnant during a break from her boyfriend. She was out partying. She said she was in this whole party scene, and then she ended up getting pregnant, and her boyfriend has just accepted it and wants to be in the father role, which I think is pretty awesome. We also find out that she is having a boy and that her son is going to be born without a limb on one of his arms, which is really sad to hear. So she and her boyfriend are talking about it, and she basically says, do you think, you know, he's going to ask us like, what's wrong with me? You know, is he going to feel any different? Is he going to get teased? Which is pretty much anybody's worries when they find out something like that. And the boyfriend basically says that, you know, I'm just going to relate it back to being transgender and just let him know that there's nothing wrong with him. He's beautiful and he's great. And I just thought that was a nice little sweet segment to put in there. Next we meet Jade, who is 21 years old, and I thought this was different because typically in these shows we start out with somebody being as young as, I think the youngest person on Teen Mom was about 15 years old, and they're no older than 19. So the fact that she's 21, I like it because it's giving you a whole different range, a different insight, because she's not as young as some of these other girls, but you know, she's still young. Jade is 34 weeks pregnant and she is having a girl. She lives with her boyfriend Sean, and he actually is in the same business as her dad. And what she went on to say was basically that Sean works all day and comes home and plays video games all night. I don't know if that was shade or what, but I took it as shade. Jade also explains that her parents are struggling with or had struggled with addiction in the past, and that basically leads her and her boyfriend to have a conversation on whether or not her parents would be allowed to babysit. She basically says that, you know, she knows that her parents are good and she has full trust in them, and her boyfriend is just not happy with the whole idea of her parents watching the baby, and he basically lets it be known. Next we meet 20-year-old Ashley. She is currently 30 weeks pregnant. Her boyfriend's name is Bar. Apparently Ashley is from California and she moved to Las Vegas to be a dancer. She didn't specify what kind of dancer. And when she finds out that she's pregnant, her and her boyfriend move back to California to be with her mom. She says her parents, but we only meet her mother throughout this whole episode. And she's currently studying to be a medical assistant, and she also explains that her boyfriend is in between jobs. And we also find out that Ashley is having a baby girl that she is naming Holly. So now we come to the drama of the episode. Basically there's drama circulating between Ashley's family, well Ashley, and then Bar's family, and Bar is her boyfriend, on whether or not what they should name the baby. Initially the baby's middle name was supposed to be Bar's mother's name, but apparently there was some drama between Ashley and Bar's mother, so Ashley revoked that middle name away from her, and she said, you know, I just don't want your mom to have the upper hand. I don't want her to smite me when it comes to my baby's middle name, so no, she's no longer gonna have her middle name. We go back to Briana's scene, and she actually has her friend Madison over. They're having some pizza, and basically they're just having a conversation, and basically, Madison asks Briana how's her relationship going with Danae, and you know, she explains that things have been rocky, but now they're going great and everything is good. Her friend, I want to say, accidentally calls Danae she uses the wrong pronoun, and Briana corrects her, but it just seems like, I thought it was an accident, but it just seems like her friend's not interested, which I was just like, oh, that's a little bit rude. But I mean, I don't know if that's just her attitude or how she was, but yeah, she corrects her. So Briana's friend Ashley then asks her, how does Briana's mom feel about Danae stepping into the father position for her baby? And Briana basically explains, like, this is something that my mom's still trying to deal with, and they don't really explain it, but I think the reason why Briana's mom is trying to deal with this is not because Danae is transgender, but more of the fact that Briana and Danae have had a rocky relationship. We go on to meet 18-year-old Kayla, who is 27 weeks pregnant, and the first clip of her segment is basically asking her father of her child whether or not what they are, you know, basically saying like, are we in a relationship or what? And I wish they didn't start off with that because it seems a little bit tricky, but they do go on to explain that part. So Kayla is with her boyfriend Stefan. Stefan is 19 years old, and they've been on and off because Stefan cannot stop cheating, which I felt like was a little bit crazy that they introduced that as how he is on this series. As the story progressed, Kayla explains that she got some bad news via Snapchat, that one of her friends told her that Steven has yet cheated on her again. And at this point, I'm just like, okay, like, when you're pregnant, you're already stressed out about everything. The last thing you want to hear is that the person that you're in love with, the father of your child, who is supposed to be your boyfriend, is cheating on you. But okay, so basically he goes on to express that it was an accident, and you can tell that she's pretty much ready to forgive him. Like, this is just one of those spills that they are comfortable with, I guess you can say. We do find out that she is having a baby boy and that she is naming him Isaiah. And one thing I will say I like about this series is I like the fact that people are spelling their kids' names differently. So she is naming her baby Isaiah, and she's spelling it with 2 Z's. So like instead of an S right after the I. And then I forgot to mention that Jade is also naming her baby girl Chloe, and she's spelling it K-L-O-I-E, and I thought that was really different. And then also Steven explains how he wants to be in his baby's life, how his baby's not going to grow up without a father, and I thought that was really nice as well. Then we meet 17-year-old Lexi, and she is the only one in the series that is still in high school. Everybody else is either done with high school or have been done for a while. She is also 29 weeks pregnant. So Lexi's boyfriend, or I'm not exactly sure if he's her boyfriend, the father of her child, his name is Kyler. They have been together since 7th grade, and they're currently in their senior year of high school. Lexi is the co-captain of her cheerleading team, and basically we find out that as they started their senior year of high school, Kyler basically told Lexi that he wanted to go on a break, and not too long after that she finds out that she's pregnant, and Kyler does explain that he is terrified, you know, a little bit worried about all of this. Lexi is also nervous because she is from a very small town, and she is a little bit worried about the first game that she is going to be cheering at. We go back to Ashley from California, and she is actually shopping for a dress for her baby shower, and she's actually shopping with a girl that actually has the same name as her. She talks to her friend about how she has gained some weight, so she's a little bit worried about finding a dress, even though I think she still looks absolutely great. And during this time, Bar, again, who is Ashley's boyfriend, meets with his mom. And we meet his mom, her name is Shen, I believe. And they talk about this whole middle name thing. And basically, Shen explains that it's a tradition for all the girls in her family to be named after, I don't know if it's the grandma or the mother, but she doesn't have any daughters, she has boys. And apparently her and Ashley got into it, and Ashley just removed that, and she just still wants the baby to have her middle name, which is Marie. And it's clearly not working out that way. So Bar goes on to explain that Ashley's just not some random chick that is going to be around for 5 seconds. This girl is in his life. She is now family, and his mom needs to start treating her that way instead of being rude about it. And basically his mom is very territorial, and she's saying that she doesn't want anybody to steal the crown off of her head, that her boys are her boys, and that's how it is. And I can kind of see where the problem is lying within this whole situation. So then we go back to Jade, and she is having lunch with her mom. They sit down to talk, and basically the first thing Jade says is that her baby is no longer breech, and her mom said, yeah, I wasn't too worried about that because I felt the position of the baby. And I actually had this problem where we thought my daughter was breech, so I can understand the stress that probably came with that. Jade basically expressed that she didn't think she was going to be this young expecting a child. Her mom also says that I did also want you to finish college, but you know what they say, not to plan your life. And then the last part of their segment, they're talking about how Jade's boyfriend does not want their baby to be in the car with Jade's mom. And Jade's mom's just like, you know, I'm not on drugs anymore. I'm not like that. I should be able to be trusted with my grandchild. Go back to Kayla, and basically her boyfriend, or I don't know if he's her boyfriend at the second, her, Stefan, and 2 other people go out to go-karting, and as she's asking, you know, for all of them to go, the guy at the go-kart plate is saying you cannot go, but they can go. Kayla sits on the sideline as her friends go on to go-kart. After they're done, her and Stefan have a conversation, and it comes back to that beginning scene again where she asks him, what are they? Explains that he wants to work this out, he wants to be in a relationship and to really make this work. So as they're talking, Kayla adds, so are we gonna see other people? And he gets frustrated, and he's just like, well, didn't you just ask me, are we together? The way I took this scene is, I think she was pretty much throwing shade at him, like, are we together, or are you gonna go see other people like you've done in the past? He got really offended about it and told her, you know, you already know what it is. And I really do not even blame her for asking that question. Go back to Lexi, and she's actually having cheer practice with her friends. And then after that, she goes on to meet with the reporter from her high school paper. The town is so small, so I guess everybody reads this paper, and she's going to set the record straight. She said there's a lot of freshmen and sophomores that don't know her, that just automatically see her and call her a hoe, and she wants everybody to know that she's not a hoe. She's been with one guy, and she's been with him for years, so this is not that type of situation. The reporter also asked her if her friends have been supportive, and she said one friend was supportive and one friend was not. And she also has found out throughout this whole situation who her real friends are and who aren't. And I really felt sorry for her within that situation. She seemed really upset about it, and you know, support is everything. So, you know, when you have great friends, you would want them to support you. So it's really sad to see that she had to go through something like that. Next scene is with Briana, and she's actually with her mom and her boyfriend Danae, and they're talking about whether or not Danae should move in. Briana's mom expresses how she does not want Danae to move in because her house is where her peace is. The last thing she wants to do is to go to work all day and to come home and have them fussy. So she basically explains, like, things are good now, but I know how y'all can get, so let's kind of work on that. So Briana pretty much explains to her mom, you know, it'd be better in a financial standpoint, it'll be better for all of us to live together instead of Danae paying for an apartment, and instead of you paying for this whole place. How about we all come together and join forces and basically raise this baby? And Briana's mom just seems like she's about 50% yes and 50% no's, because they do raise a good argument. But she said, let's just kind of work on this and let's just wait and see. And in this clip, we also find out that Briana is naming her son Brayson. We go back to Ashley, and her boyfriend Bar are in the car driving, and she does a voiceover and express that Bar's mom basically got online and addressed her baby with the middle name Marie and was being disrespectful. So her and Bar are supposed to be going over to Ashley's mom's house to have a conversation. Bar expresses that he is not going to sit there and let them badmouth his mom in this situation. He is going to walk out. And Ashley is just like, well, I need you to be here for me. I need you to defend me. I actually kind of feel bad for Bar in this situation. I don't want to say too much because we don't know the underlying situation. MTV's only given us oh so much so we can formulate how we feel about somebody. But I want to know like the whole situation between Ashley and Bar's mom. I feel a little sorry for Bar in this moment because he seems to be in between his mother, the lady that gave birth to him, that raised him, and the woman that is currently carrying his child that he loves. Nothing's worse than when you're in a situation between two people you love and they're fussing. You know, so I feel a little bit bad for him, but then it stops immediately after him and Ashley continue to argue. She calls him a bum or something of that sort, and he basically goes on to express how she's a weak AB, and I'm just like, you don't call the mother of your child a weak AB. Like that's too much, you know. I understand things happen at the heat of the moment, but that was a little bit extreme. After that scene, we go back to Jade and we find out that her dad actually got fired from his job because of a failed drug test, and I'm just like, dang, that's gotta suck. So Jade meets up with somebody and they don't really say who it is. At first I think it's her sister, but it looks like it's somebody, a childhood friend or something like that, and the childhood friend basically says that this is something that's been happening for years. Jade wants to talk to her mom about it, but then she also explains how her mom can get really psycho, so she's a little bit worried about having this conversation with her mother. We go back to Lexi and she's actually getting ready for her first game. She goes to the game and she cheers, and I commend her because I cannot imagine doing anything while I was pregnant. Nevertheless, cheerleading, so she does everything but the stunts, and she seems to have a good time. After the game, her and Kayla go to meet Kyla's family and they talk about it, and she talks about how she felt a little bit judged, that people would look at her stomach, and then turn to the side and whisper to somebody else, and she pretty much felt really judged at that point. And I feel sorry for her because you can tell that this town is really that small. The fact that she's actually talking to a reporter about her pregnancy. In other towns, you know, people get pregnant during high school and it doesn't really seem to be something that goes in the newspaper, but this is something big. And then she is also the only one of the castmates that is in high school, and we all know how high school is, especially when you're in high school. It's one of those make or break situations, and I feel bad for her because considering how high school was for me, I can only imagine how it is for her, and I can only imagine how more stressful this situation is. And the last scene is back to Ashley and Bar, and they are still having this conversation. Ashley's mom speaks a little bit to Bar about how the situation isn't right. I think he talks about picking up his aunt or something like that, and basically Ashley's just letting it know, like, I'm not scared to slap the mess out of somebody at my baby shower. So we all know that this is pretty much getting really crazy. I really want to know what all of this is about. I don't want to believe it's over middle name drama. I'm not really sure. I want to know what the real problem is between Ashley and Bar's mom, because it just seems really crazy that it's even at this point. Bar gets up and he leaves, and Ashley then proceeds to her room and she starts to cry, and that's the end of the episode. I thought this episode was really good. I really enjoyed the editing. I like getting to know some new girls, some new situations. I like how everybody has a different story and it's not like the same thing, and it seems like it's gonna be a really good show. So I want to know your opinions about it. And I did notice is Ashley and Jay got majority of the scenes. It seems like it went back to them all the time, so I wonder if that's how the series is going to be, how it's mainly them, because when you even think about Teen Mom 2, Chelsea barely has any scenes compared to like Janelle and everybody else. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to turn out. All in all, I did enjoy the episode, and yeah, so just let me know how you feel about it, and I can't wait to recap the next episode for y'all. Have a great day.